Hello, YouTube. I am doing a very serious subject matter video blog right now. I've chosen not to be seen just for the fact that if I cry or something, I just don't want to be seen on camera. The subject matter of this video today is dealing with serious mental illness and what impacts it has on people. I don't know if there's a whole lot of people that do real talk video blogs about this topic. I really haven't looked it up on YouTube to know that. But I'm going to tell you, based on what I've seen and based on what I've experienced, what mental illnesses can do to a person. It doesn't matter what exactly happened that caused the mental illness. That is not going to be a part of this video. The root cause of them is not relevant. Not right now. Maybe I'll get into that in a future time when I feel that I can handle going into that, if I ever do so. But anyway, where do I start here? Let's pick a really serious illness that people have that a lot of people do not understand. One of which would be schizophrenia. I have witnessed people that actually do have schizophrenia. And the symptoms of schizophrenia is hearing voices, seeing things that are not really there, talking to things that are not really there, things of that nature. Your voices can tell you to do things that are not good. They can tell you to hurt people. They can tell you to, act out. Or, if it gets real bad and it's not treated, they can tell you to kill yourself. Which I'm not really sure if anybody has actually committed suicide because of schizophrenia. I'm not really sure. I've never known anybody that has, so don't quote me if that has or has not happened, but I'm sure it could, because if your voices are telling you to hurt yourself, you're not going to stop at just hurting yourself. You're just going to keep doing something until you're dead, or you're just going to do something that's just going to end it because you're just tired of it. With me seeing people like that, it's freaking scary. I'll put it that way, because you don't know if they're gonna, flip out over nothing. That can happen, and they can become a danger not only to themselves but to other people as well. They can be a danger to anybody and themselves. And when they get to be like that, the best thing that a person can do is call crisis or something like that and get them put in a hospital to where they can be medically treated for their mental illness and be stabilized. Because without being stabilized, it's just going to spiral out of control, and the end result is going to be pretty bad. Either they're going to hurt themselves, or they're going to hurt somebody else, or they're going to kill someone and then kill themselves. Kind of makes you wonder, some of these Hollywood stories where you hear that celebrities have, killed themselves and their families. You kind of wonder what their mindset was. Were they suffering from a serious mental illness, and they were not diagnosed with it? Like, they didn't see anybody, they didn't tell anyone that they were experiencing these things, and it got to the point where they just could not handle it? and they lost all sense of control and ended up doing something that took everybody out that they dearly loved and took themselves out in the process. A situation like that can be a very sad thing to have happen. But you know what? It does happen. That is a reality of somebody that is severely disturbed with that. I know that I was diagnosed schizophrenic, and to some degree, I do agree that I had it, because I did hear voices myself personally, and it's not a joke, okay? I know somebody might snicker hearing that I suffer from that, but it's not really a joke, because you know what? That shit is scary, because the voices that I hear or did hear, or whenever I hear them, because, you know, it's not as bad now, but it was very bad a few years ago. When I heard them or do hear them, it's kind of like present and past tense, so excuse me. It's freaky because they tell me to do things that I would not normally do to people or myself. And I have to fight that and tell it no. And it's a constant fight. Even being on medication, which I take meds for, you're not cured from it. It doesn't take it away. A lot of people think if you're on meds that you're cured. That don't happen. Not with any mental illness. It doesn't take it away. All it does is help, you know, keep the symptoms from being so problematic. And it helps you to function in life. But it does not take it away. You know, if you think that there's a wonder drug out there that's just gonna magically take away your problems, you're living in a pipe dream, quite literally speaking, because that won't happen. That won't even happen for if somebody had a medical, like actual medical condition. There's no cure for anything. They have medicine that helps treat the problem, but it doesn't cure it. Same thing with mental illness. You can treat the symptoms, but you can't take the condition away. Basically, when you have it for life. And you just have to learn coping skills on how to handle it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to a different illness that affects a lot of people too, which would be depression. There's many forms of depression. Not just bipolar. I know bipolar is the new label about depression and all that stuff. I know everybody's like, oh, I'm bipolar. Just because you suffer from depression does not mean that you have bipolar disorder. You know, people were telling me that I was bipolar. That is not my diagnosis. My diagnosis is manic depression, which is the most severe depression that you can have. Okay, that depression is so bad that you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to care for yourself. You isolate from people. You can get so bad to where you start self-harming yourself, or to the point where you commit suicide if it gets real bad. Luckily, you know, I've never been to the point where I wanted to end it with my depression. It's never been that bad. But I have gotten bad enough in the past to where I have hurt myself. Because in my mind, when I physically hurt myself, the emotional pain was going out with the wound. It helped me feel better. I figured, well, if it helps me feel better, then I'll go ahead and do it. But that's not something healthy that anybody should do, because it's not a healthy coping thing. That is just harming yourself, and it doesn't help. it just creates a bigger freaking problem in the grand scheme of everything. It don't help at all. You know, I have this issue, and I know other people that suffer from the same condition because they have manic depression. And the thing is, when you know people that have the same diagnosis as you, it is very hard to help them when you are trying to deal with the same disorder as them. You know, it's like, how are you going to help somebody that has the same thing as you when you can't even figure out how to handle it with yourself? It's like, how do you figure out how to help yourself and help somebody else at the same moment? It's like very hard to do, because it's like, what do I do? You feel almost powerless because you can't help them. It's a very hard situation to be in, and a lot of people don't understand it. You know, people that have had, like, you know, mild depression, or women that have gotten depressed after having kids, the baby blues and things like that. You know, I wouldn't even say that that's even the tip of what I've handled personally with my own depression, or seen with other people that are manically depressed. You know, I'm not slamming anybody that's had milder depression by any means. I think that they're blessed that they didn't get the depression to the degree that I have it, because I wouldn't curse anybody with that. You know, it's a horrible thing to live with, because you got to fight that crap every day too. You got to make yourself get out of bed if you don't want to. You got to make yourself, you know, eat. You got to make yourself take a bath or a shower. You got to make yourself go outside and socialize, even if you don't want to. You have to do those things. Otherwise, the illness is going to control you. I'm not preaching a sermon here and telling you how to handle your problems. If you have mental disorders, you know, the way you handle yours might be different than the way I handle mine. I know the way my husband handles his is different than the way I handle mine. We're all different with the way we handle it. We all have different coping skills. We all handle things differently. That is what makes us individuals. We handle things, you know, the way we can handle them. And we can't shove our ideals and our coping skills down people's throats, because that may not work for them. You know, I've had people do that to me, like, oh, do this, do that, you'll feel better. No, I've done that. I've sang that song and dance, you know. It don't work. You know, it's like, don't try to tell me how to handle my issue when you don't even suffer from it. You have no idea how bad it is, so you can't really give me any informative, like, criticism or suggestion that would help. Because you can't help somebody if you don't know exactly how bad their situation is with their illness that they have. Because if you have no grasp, like, if you've never looked it up and actually read about, you know, severe depression, then you have no idea how to handle it, or excuse me, or how to, you know, help someone. You can't help somebody if you're not educated on the subject. Obviously. That would be like going into a freaking trig class and saying that you know how to do it when you don't. That just makes an ass out of yourself if you really think about it. But anyway, yeah, you know, these two illnesses that I mentioned right now, the schizophrenia and the manic depression, are both very, very severe and very serious conditions that, yes, they need medication to help the symptoms from getting too bad, and they need, the person needs to see a psychiatrist to keep their meds. They also, you know, if therapy will help, go see a therapist and talk to them about how you're feeling. That way you don't end up hurting yourself. Because if the therapist actually thinks that you're going to do something dumb, they're not going to let you go home. They're going to put you in the hospital. That way you can get treated, stabilized. That way you can come back out and actually, you know, function normally like you should, instead of like having you go home and something bad happening because you didn't get treatment when you really needed it. There's other disorders that I would like to cover, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to do any more videos on this. It all depends on what kind of response I get, what kind of comments are left, and everything else, because I do not want to record a series on this if it's going to cause, like, you know, hate comments and people commenting thinking they know more than I do because they've seen others suffer with it, but they've never had it. Just because you've seen somebody suffer with this does not make you an expert, okay? You have no idea what that person walks in their shoes with every day when they're dealing with this. You don't know what it's like unless you actually have it. So, you know, I don't know. It's kind of like a gray area for me to do these type of videos because I don't really know, like, how they're going to be taken, how people are going to respond, and everything else. If you guys would like me to do another video on this subject, I will be happy to do it. But I'm going to need, you know, some kind of indication that you guys want me to do that. It's like either comment below or hit that like button. Like if I have, like, you know, at least 10 likes on this video, then I will upload another video on the subject. Probably with various things that I've personally experienced myself or I have helped somebody else deal with that I have knowledge on. I'm not going to do videos on things that I don't know about because that makes me kind of stupid sounding trying to tell you, oh, I've dealt with this when I really haven't. You know, I won't do that. It's only going to be based on things that I actually have dealt with or helped somebody else with. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If you found this video by YouTube search and have never came across my channel before, I do other videos that are not so serious. I do hauls, food bank hauls, food reviews, and other various videos that you may find of interest. If you would like to, please hit the subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated, because I value each and every one of my subscribers and thank them for being here and thank them for taking their time to watch my videos, see what I have uploaded, and hear what I have to say. I thank all of you for that. Anyway, I will leave my Keek Messenger name and my email in the description box if you would like to contact me off YouTube. So, anyway, you guys have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all later.